Hello everyone and welcome to today's episode of Q&A coaching session. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of question and answers. Emails that have been sent to me during the week, I've collated, I've boiled down, I've got to their essence and I'm able to answer them in this video format. We'll do this once a week, gives you a little bit of insight into what viewers are asking, gives you a little bit of insight into my life and how I see the world and how the 1 year life transformation challenge is being propelled and how you're propelling it with your questions and how we're all connecting it at a level. Each phone call, Skype session, email, text message I get, it's more connection, bringing the 1 year life transformation challenge to everyone. It's not about me, it's about the connections that are created through this system. This idea of one video per day for 1 year isn't my idea. It came from out of here and through me as a conduit for people to reach the peak potential of their lives, and I'm just happy to be the flesh pot in front of the screen discussing this with you because we're connecting via digital medium, of course, but ultimately at a spiritual level because there is no separation. And one thing I know for sure, we're all in this together. So I can help you, you can help me, and ultimately we're simply helping the one consciousness, which is the divine consciousness that controls the beauty of the world, which we're all part of. So I'm going to jump into the first question, and the first question is from Kate in Cork. I believe Cork's an island, and to all my Irish viewers, thank you. I don't know, Ireland seems to be one of my countries where I have the most viewers from, and it's only a small country, a beautiful country, a famous country with so much to offer, so I appreciate that, and I will answer Kate from Cork's question. You seem so positive all the time, do you ever get sad? That's a great question, Kate. Yes, I do get sad, I'm a human being. However, sadness is an emotion, and as a human, we're lucky we get to experience all emotions, whether it be love, joy, sorrow, sadness, suffering, quite a few emotions, and of course I get them all. What I've decided in my life is to create a system, which we go through in the 1 year life transformation challenge, in which those, I guess what you might call negative emotions, I wouldn't call them negative, but those sort of negative emotions which society labels, I rarely get, but I do get them. And what do I do when I get them? Well, I allow them to be. There must be a reason why I'm sad. And I'm involved in relationships, whether it's coaching relationships, family relationships, romantic relationships. And the thing about relationships with humans is sometimes that person may not bring to the table exactly what you want. And probably an example of me being sad is, when romantic or family relationships break down. And ultimately, there will be some sadness. And I will allow it to come into me, and I'll ask the sadness, what's this all about? And the sadness will generally say, and don't think I'm crazy because I'll ask you to ask your emotions in one of our other videos and get some responses, but generally the thought patterning that comes from, you're sad because you love this person, you'll never see them again. And I'll say, okay, thank you. That must mean they're really important to me. And the emotion will generally bring up feelings like, yes, that was so important to you. And I'll say to the emotion, well, thank you. I agree that they are important to me and I really value the time of them. And the emotion goes, great, I'm out of here. And it disappears. And I go back to being, like you said, what was it? Positive Brad. Now, it's not that I'm positive, it's that the default state of humanity is happiness. Evolution did not create this amazing creature with a prefrontal cortex to roll around being unhappy and depressed. Think about it. Why would that be an evolutionary advantage? It's just not. Our default status is just being happy. And I revert to my default status the majority of the time. So I'm not scared of sorrow, happiness, sorrow or pain. I'm not scared of those things. They exist for a short time. And you're going to stub your toe from time to time, but the toe's going to stop hurting eventually. You don't stub your toe and go, well, I'm planning never to walk again because the pain I feel right now is going to last forever. We know that it goes away. So when things like sadness or sorrow do come into my life, I appreciate them for what they are. And remember, duality, and I have done a couple of videos on duality, the concept of how could you appreciate the cold unless you understood heat. That's the beauty of those bookmarks, is that sometimes when maybe life doesn't give you what you expect, it's a great thing because it helps you reevaluate and put you back on the path. And remember, a kick in the ass from life sometimes is a kick in the ass right into the right direction. And I can tell you the amount of times I've been kicked in the ass out of the way of a freight train and onto my true path is countless. And that's how I take sadness. So I embrace it. I really do. Thank you for the question, Kate. Mark is from Auckland. They have plenty. No, sorry, Auckland. Yeah. So fantastic, Mark. I lived in New Zealand for a few years. I lived in Mission Bay in New Zealand, in Auckland. Fantastic place. And Mark asks, "Do you work out?" Mark, of course I work out, and I'm Adonis. No, I'm only joking. I do work out. I do resistance training, and I play competitive basketball because it's one of my passions. Working out is really, really important to me, and it's because of the mind. So we've got the brain, we've got the body, and then we have the mind, the spirit, the soul that connects it all. And you can't just be a really smart person and expect to have success or love or life. You can't just be a really fit person and expect life to deliver. You must be a holistic person. And for me, resistance training is particularly important as a man, and I'll just deal with men for a sec. I believe all men should do resistance training. It increases our testosterone levels. But also what it does is it keeps us biologically on the hunt, and I'll explain that now. So when we look at bones and DNA from ancient people, especially when I'm talking about cave people, we'll go back into the Stone Age here, what we find is that men age disproportionately sometimes, and what I mean by that is some men age quicker than others, and you can see that all the time. You can meet, I'm 35. Some people say I look younger than 35, yet some 35-year-olds, people might say they look older than 35. So why is that? How can that happen? It's got to do with human growth hormone, insulin growth factor 1, and testosterone. Now, insulin growth factor 1, which ultimately becomes human growth hormone, and then the combination of that with testosterone, is what makes you a man. Gives you balls, gives you a penis, gives you good muscle definition, shoulders, the definition characteristics that separate from a female. Now, as a man, you start to drop off on insulin growth factor 1 or human growth hormone and testosterone at about, anywhere between sort of 27 and 33 is probably the years where it starts to really dip. And ultimately, aging is the lack of human growth hormone. Now, why did I talk about cavemen? Well, the real reason I talk about cavemen is sometimes when we excavate bones of ancient people, we find that there's fit 40-year-olds, fit 35-year-olds, but then we can find people with arthritis and really unfit 35-year-olds and 40-year-olds. And what some scientists believe is that evolutionarily, in order to keep fit and healthy societies, men had to be involved in their purpose, which was to hunt, go out, meet objectives and purpose, which might be to get a mammoth, bring it back, and share the food, and the community and the tribe would prosper. Now, if you couldn't contribute on the hunt, you become a liability. And if you're a liability in a small group of, say, 15 people, who's a nomadic group of people, you can't really afford to be around. And your body will age as you lose physical activity. Your brain will say, right, you're not involved in the hunt, you're not getting any more human growth hormone, I'm not going to help you out as much, maintain all your vital organs. And ultimately, that's the onset of old age and death. So you can trick your body into believing you're still part of the hunt, still part of the community, by chasing your purpose and doing resistance exercise. Resistance exercise is the things that happen on the hunt. The pushing motions, the pulling motions, the throwing motions. All those motions are what we used to do on a hunt. You continue them, your body will continue to produce human growth hormone and testosterone, and you'll feel $1 million. So I'm going to add some health and workout schedules to the video, so it's a timely question mark, and I appreciate it. So if you're not in the gym doing resistance, and it's not about looking like Rambo, looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's simply about providing resistance in your life. Resistance creates growth, and as a man, there is nothing more important than the hormones that create manlyhood, and maintaining those hormones so you can be the best man you can be. The next question is from Kieran. Kieran is in Kent, England. You seem a natural at public speaking, and it's my biggest fear. How do you do it? Well, Kieran, I appreciate where you're coming from, because I was terrified of public speaking. I think we all are at some level. Getting up in front of other people, having them judge us, and I'm sure people who watch this video judge me, and I don't mind, because ultimately people will judge. It's our default state. As you get older and as you study, more and more life skills and other things come across your path, especially, Buddhism would be a great example, you judge less, because judging's always wrong. Unless you're a professional judge on a very specific area, generally your judgments are just your core beliefs being run at an external level. So don't mind being judged now, because I understand that. But ultimately, people need to give voice to their beliefs, especially if they feel that they're right. And if you don't, someone will give you their beliefs. And that's very dangerous because unfortunately what we have is we have a world where there's these super mega stars, these super rich and wealthy famous people who we all listen to and look for advice. I just recently heard Chris Brown was giving advice on life and things like that. And not that I've got any problem with Chris Brown, but ultimately these people, because they have money, have no more to offer than you. Now, the challenge is a lot of these individuals are on sponsorship deals and endorsements, and the information they're giving isn't necessarily designed to help you. It's probably designed to sell to you. So I would say, Karen, that you get out and you just talk. And you go out and talk with one understanding, that what you're saying won't be accepted by everyone. But if you reach one person and can help them, then it's all worthwhile. When I first started out in this system, I remember I'd probably get one view a week on YouTube, and I thought, oh God, this is, I'm not reaching anyone. And I remember seeing a friend who had told me that he had one of my videos on a USB key and watched it daily, and it kept him out of a very, very dark period of his life. And the minute I heard that, I went, great, this system is going to continue pumping it out, and no one watches another video after that. I don't mind because I've reached one person. So understanding that your fear of public speaking isn't the fear of public speaking, it's the fear of being judged. Understand you're going to be judged when you walk into a room or do anything. So you might as well be judged doing something that you love. And if people are going to judge you, they might as well know what you're about. And public speaking allows you to do that. Practice helps, and more importantly, just being your authentic self. Don't go out and try and be a Brad or be a Elliot Hulse or something like that. Just be you, because you'll deliver really well, because you'll be effortless and won't have to think it through. Another question from England again, from London, the beautiful London towns, from Sarah. Who do you like to coach more, men or women? Well, I coach both. It's probably 50-50 or close to in regards to my coaching practice. Women are great to coach because they're so empathetic. They understand, when you talk to them about triggers and emotions, they get it. Because they understand that in their life they've had to deal with some serious emotions, and they know the triggers, and I feel that when I speak to women, they're much more in line with what's going on. They might not know how to solve it, fix it, or get it together, but they definitely are very good at understanding that they are emotional creatures and those things do influence them. So I love it, and I love to get insights from women. I find it fascinating, and I love women, and I think that they are such a great conduit for us men to understand the yin and the yang of life. And I've learned so much from women, from coaching them, and from the women in my life, the beautiful women, the romantic women, the women in my family. I've learned so much. I love coaching them. Men, I think men are in a tough spot at the moment. I notice, and some of the men I'm dealing with are really unsure and frustrated with life and the world. And I think at the moment most of my results, more immediate results, are happening with men, because men have just had it tough, I guess, and understanding their role in society for quite a while now. So I guess the answer to it is that I like coaching women because they're so insightful and they have such depth to their emotional knowledge, and I'm able to draw that out and help them control that and direct it in positive ways that create even more remarkable women. But I have to say I like coaching men simply because I think they need it the most, not because there's anything wrong with us, but because we're probably under we take things at face value, very logical. So if someone says something, we generally apply it, whereas women might apply it and say, how does this feel to me? And I think that's a better system. So I really like taking men through that model, showing them the femininity aspect, the masculine aspect, and geez, it's so easy to get results with men, because once you get them on track, get them on purpose, geez, those guys just overnight become animals, become the successful versions of themselves. Women take a little bit longer, just as rewarding. But right now, I'm just going to put it out there to answer your question. I'm going to say men right now. 2 weeks from now, it could be women, but just with the amount of volume of challenges that men have, and I like to coach men. Anton from Barcelona in Catalonia in Spain. Anton had a long question. I'm just going to boil it down. Basically asked, how do I get a girlfriend? I've got a couple of videos on relationships and how to get girlfriends, Anton. However, the way I'd answer that is don't worry about getting a girlfriend. And if you're on Tinder, get off Tinder, get off dating profiles and websites, mate, because you don't need a girlfriend right now, because I can tell by your email, even for the viewers who only get that little part of it, that you shouldn't focus on that. Men focus on their purpose. They are driven to a purpose and a goal. And when they're chasing that goal, the woman of their dreams comes right in the way and goes smack bang in front of you. I can guarantee you this is the way. If you go chasing women, just like chasing a cat will flee. If If you let the cat come to you, you get the right cat. And as soon as I hear questions like, I'm desperately trying to find a girlfriend, I already know the answer to why you haven't got one. Chasing the wind, really. Women choose. Ultimately, women choose the man. I don't care if you're Brad Pitt or, I don't care who you are. Women choose, because ultimately they have a lot more at stake. Their emotional states are much more invested in relationships. In the past, evolutionarily, any sex would lead to procreation, which means they'd have to carry a child for 9 months. They've got to choose the right guy. Men, we don't have to be so choosy because we don't have so much at stake. And ultimately, women will choose. Now, how do they choose? They choose blokes who are on that purpose. They choose blokes who are confident, who are active, who are getting things done. They don't choose blokes who are blowing up their phones, stalking them, writing them inappropriate messages, sending them dick pics. They don't choose those blokes. And if they do, you don't want those women because they're insecure and the relationship's going to be really challenged. Get out there, Anton. And what I would like to see in your next email, or perhaps our next conversation, is talking about your purpose. Your purpose will get you a girlfriend, guaranteed. So that's the last question for today. Thank you very much for all those who sent in your emails. When you send in emails, please let me know if you want it answered in a video message or whether it's just an emergency email. Other than that, I can't wait to see you tomorrow for the next video on the 1 Year Life Transformation Challenge. Goodbye.